It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Hey everybody, it is Wednesday. We are back. We are back after a week-long hiatus. The experience is back. Welcome back. I am Drew. And with me, as always, is the man himself, my tag team partner in crime and in podcasting.
Yes, Justin from Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com.
Spinebuster Tees. We have quite a few things to get into, and like we've been trying to do, since the last episode, we're going to try to keep these shows a little shorter. Preferably, the limit is an hour 30, maybe an hour 45 if necessary. But we have quite a few things to talk about, so let's get into the crazy world of wrestling. Let's start with Friday Night SmackDown. Where is the SmackDown? Where is the SmackDown? It's a weird thing to say. Last Friday on SmackDown was kind of ho-hum. Not as good as the past few ones, preferably. The Rock wasn't there. But we did have Cody and Roman kind of do their thing. And let's kind of rewind the clocks back since we didn't do a show last week. So on the SmackDown prior to last week, The Rock came back and did the Rock concert. First time we've seen that since, was it 2012, 2013?
Something like that.
So still back as a heel. Back with his 2003 Hollywood Rock theme, which I'm happy for, because I was saying I think he should bring that theme back now that he's a heel, and he did. He kind of remixed it in with his newer theme, and then added a little dun 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 dun, and then did the 2003 Hollywood Rock theme, which I'm happy about, and the fans seemed happy about it. And he came out, in Memphis, which the fans weren't booing Rock. The Rock saying, I started my wrestling career here in Memphis. A la Bret Hart in '97, where anytime he was in Canada, he was a god, but in America, he was a heel. So I guess for The Rock, it's in Memphis, I'm a god. I'm loved, and everyone hates Cody. So he did the Rock concert, brought out two Grammy award-winning artists who I couldn't pick their name out of a police lineup, so don't bother me asking who that was, and just proceeded to shit on Cody, shit on his dad, or not really shit on his dad. Well, kind of, where he said condoms and drugs don't mix. Talking about how Cody was conceived essentially. And then talked about Mama Rhodes. And then after the Rock concert was done, he stopped singing. He gets a little serious and turns to Mama Rhodes and says, I'm going to beat the shit out of your son. I'm going to beat him like a dog. And right after I'm done, I'm going to hand you my belt that's going to be covered in your son's, blood, his skin, everything else. And as I'm wiping the tears from your face, I'm going to whisper in your ear, what can I say except you're welcome? Which, if anyone doesn't know, that's a lyric from the movie Moana, which he sang the song for. He played Maui, which the crowd actually started singing Maui, or they started chanting Maui, Maui. I thought that was genius. Taking a lyric from a song from a children's movie and making it sound so sinister. So I like this Rock. I like this new heel Rock, because the difference between him and like heel Hollywood Rock was more of like a chicken shit heel. I mean, because at the end of the day, The Rock can whoop my ass. He can whip all of our asses. But this Rock is different because he's more sinister and more conniving and a little bit more evil. We'll get to Monday Night Raw. But that worked. This is probably like the first time in my life where I've actually been kind of like scared of The Rock. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like if I saw The Rock in the street, I'd be terrified. But as a character, he's intimidating. But what were your thoughts on the Rock concert from a few weeks ago?
Great. It was good. It was what needed to be done. Glad that this pivot happened, because now we're getting probably the best version of The Rock that we've seen in the last 20 years. So, yeah.
Right. And it's just, The Rock is, you and me talked about this, The Rock is a smart businessman. He gets how wrestling works. So a lot of this drama, with the match, with Cody and the Bloodline and everything else, we ended up getting the best version of The Rock in the past 20 years. So the Rock concert was great. Last Friday on SmackDown, we got the confrontation, with Cody and Roman, which was a little, not bad, but it was a little ho-hum. It wasn't as good as their promo from last year, where, Roman was like, have you ever won one of those? Laying the belt in the middle of the ring. This time it was more just kind of like they were saying the same thing, but trying to make it sound different. I don't know how you feel about Cody, but I'll ask you after I'm done. But just the promo wasn't it wasn't as strong as it could have been. And then, the idea going in was Cody agreeing to come to SmackDown as long as the Bloodline wasn't there. And then, if Cody came alone, which of course we knew that was a ruse. Jimmy and Solo came out, and then Seth and Jay came out to kind of even the odds, but nothing really happened. I didn't really think much of that segment. It wasn't bad, but it was just like, oh, that was it? You could have done so much more with that, especially for your main event of fucking WrestleMania. But what were your thoughts on that segment? And just before we talk about what happened at the end of Raw, or just Raw in general, what were your thoughts about that before what happened on Monday Night Raw?
That Rock and Cody is the match that I want to see more than Cody and Roman at this moment.
You read my mind. Like this, I don't know if it was by design or, it's just because maybe Rock is just. It's weird to say the Rock.
The Rock just shows that guys like him and Stone Cold, guys like that, the guys that came from the Attitude, it just shows that. That it is far and well supreme to today's wrestlers. Even how great as Roman is, Roman seems very second fiddle in this whole build up to WrestleMania, which is crazy to think about a year ago.
Right. Let me ask you something. Do you think that's being done by design to kind of build up the eventual Roman and Rock feud?
No.
All right. Explain.
Why would this be by design? Why would you make your world champion the guy that you've been building up and the guy that has one of the longest reigns in company history? Why would they do this on the biggest WrestleMania of all time? No, this was not by design whatsoever.
Well, if that's the kind of the way it is, or maybe that's accidentally how they're going, I'll explain why I think that is, and that's because with a lot of what's been going on with The Rock and the Bloodline, The Rock comes out separately and the Bloodline comes out separately. And you've been seeing little nuances of, Paul Heyman staring at The Rock whenever The Rock is doing, the one-ups. Except he's not doing the one-ups, he's doing the L sign. And then Roman getting pissed at The Rock. Or no, getting pissed off because the crowd wasn't chanting, acknowledge me loud enough. And then The Rock comes out, and then he kind of forces him to say, acknowledge me. So I don't know. Maybe that's just kind of how I'm thinking. I'm probably wrong. But again, that's just kind of how I feel somewhat. But the rest of SmackDown was, again, it was a very much like a one-segment show, talking about the main event of Mania. I do like how they're building up other feuds to kind of make them seem more important. LA Knight and AJ. AJ, or not AJ, but LA Knight showing up to AJ's house and, beating his ass and then going to jail. Everything going on with Bayley and Io. And then you got Bianca and Naomi going, coming in the mix. And then I'm assuming Jade is going to be added to that to make it kind of like a 3-on-3 match. You have Jade and Bianca and Naomi versus the rest of Damage Control.
Yep.
So I mean, that kind of writes itself. But yeah, Jade is gonna make her official, I guess, SmackDown debut as a member of the SmackDown roster this Friday. But what were your thoughts on the AJ and LA Knight thing, where LA Knight attacked him at his house?
It was great. You see more stuff like that in production in WWE. Ever since Cal Dunn has been out of WWE, they've been experimenting more with more outside segments. So things like that, like outside segments like that, that's how you create memories, for a lot of people. So I thought it was great.
You're not wrong. All right, so that was SmackDown. All right, where was I last? All right, I'm going to be on Raw. So this past Raw was in Chicago, and it was a sold-out building. So sold out that they had a new entrance ramp, which was the Survivor Series entrance ramp, which I actually liked. I prefer that one to the regular Monday Night Raw ones because it looks better, comes off better on television. It's kind of similar to like the old school, like early '90s Monday Night Raw entrance ramp. I don't know, like on less is more on television, in my opinion, and then like go all out with your big like entrance ramps on pay per view. I don't know. How do you feel about that look?
I thought it looked great. It looked great on TV. Aesthetically, it looks pleasing.
Right. I mean, I know they're not going to do this, but like, do you think like if you had to like, if you were running the budget for WWE or if you were Nick Khan, would you go with that look instead of like the regular look that we get every week?
It doesn't matter to me, to be honest, like the look wise of it. But I mean, if I have to pick one, I'll go with the look that we had on Monday. But to me, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. Just they just didn't have the big, the big stanchion, the curtain, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah,
right. So the show opened with Cody. Cody came out and just addressed the crowd. Gave kind of like a Dusty-esque promo where he asked the people, "Will you ride with me? Will you go on this journey with me? So I need you to do one thing. I need you to point to the WrestleMania sign." As they're all pointing the sign, you hear The Rock's music, which I didn't expect because The Rock wasn't advertised for Raw. He's advertised for April 1st on Raw in Brooklyn, which is going to be the go home show. So yeah, that I definitely didn't expect that. I mean, it's kind of weird to say that because The Rock is part of the TKO board members. So I would think if he wants to show up, he can. But it was a nice surprise seeing The Rock come out. And was it like 3 or 4 minutes of them just standing there and not saying anything? Like that was pretty fucking huge. And then The Rock leans over to Cody, whispers something, and then walks away. And Cody has this very not disheveled, but very surprised and angry look on his face. And as The Rock comes back, Jackie Redmond asks him, "What'd you say to Cody?" The Rock says, "Why don't you ask Cody Rhodes?" And then Jackie Redmond asks Cody Rhodes, "What did The Rock whisper to you?" And Cody says, "I can't really repeat it, but The Rock made a promise he can't keep." Which is kind of contradictory because, like, why didn't you tell people what The Rock actually said to you that one night after, or the SmackDown after Rumble? But I don't know. That's just me. How'd you feel about that segment? Were you surprised when The Rock came out?
Surprised, not like overly surprised, but I was like, "Oh, also Rock's here." I thought the segment, guys pointing across and it built intrigue for the rest of the night, and we got a big payoff at the end of the night, so they accomplished what needed to be done.
Which we'll get to that right now. So the main event was Jey Uso versus Nakamura. I'm not sure why, unless I missed something as to why they had a match. But they had
it was just for the ending segment. It was to build for it was to transition to the ending segment, because if they would have had him in the middle of the show, then you would have had that segment in the middle of the show.
Did the match end in disqualification? Because I kind of forgot.
I believe Jay won.
So Jay won, and then of course the Bloodline came out because they pretty much spoiled that they're already there. There's a backstage segment with Jay, and then Jimmy and Solo kind of confront him. And then the rest of the Bloodline comes out, and then Cody and Seth comes out to kind of even the odds. And then Drew ends up giving a Future Shock DDT to Seth outside the floor.
I like how all the storylines are intertwined with each other at this ending segment. That was beautifully, flowed well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We get to the back, and Cody is fighting off Solo in the back, which in my head I'm thinking, okay, The Rock's going to come out. Like, he's still there. And like I echo your sentiments from a few weeks ago where you said this feud needs to amp up a little bit. And everyone else, agrees. They agree, like, yeah, this feud does need to amp up a little bit because there's been a lot of talking aside from, the two slaps. But I think it very much well amped up because The Rock came out and did beat up Cody, beat him mercilessly, as I might add, beat the shit out of him, kind of blindsided him and just beat the air living piss out of him, talking shit to him the whole time, yelling, where you going, boy? Talking all that shit. What did I tell you? What did I tell you was going to happen? Like just like an old Southern grandpa, just beating the fuck out of him. Kind of remind me of like an '80s Southern wrestling beatdown almost. And starts beating his ass and then goes outside in the rain and starts beating his ass even more, throwing his ass against Cody's tour bus. Takes off his... No, I'm jumping ahead. So he starts beating his ass, and then the camera pans over in the back to the production truck with John Cena and Steve Austin's face, which we'll get to that after I talk about this. And the whole time he's beating his ass with the belt. No, he's not. He's not beating his ass with the belt. Afterwards, Cody bleeds. Cody is bleeding. We finally got blood on WWE television. Not accidental blood, not blood, coming out of your mouth or your nose. Like, Cody legit bladed. Which I was fucking happy because that is exactly what that needed. In your words, to amp it up a little bit, to really make The Rock look like, look like a brute. And I was saying that, I think, before you got on, or maybe I just said it to you now. I forget things. That this is probably the first time in watching The Rock, because The Rock's a tough guy. We all know that. The Rock can beat my ass. The Rock can beat everyone's ass. The guy's part Samoan. He played college football. He's a tough guy. He can beat all of our asses. But even when The Rock was a heel, back in 2003, I never found him intimidating because he was always kind of a chicken shit heel. But this is probably the first time as a heel for The Rock that he's actually been like scary. That he's actually like intimidated me. And I love it. And he just beats the air living shit out of Cody, and Cody blades, in the rain. And
man, I'm sure he was so fucking happy to do that. He was probably just smiling ear to ear after the show.
Yes, sir. And The Rock even cusses. He drops an F-bomb, which of course they bleeped out, where he says, "This is what happens when you fuck with the final boss." And The Rock takes Cody's blood and smears it on his belt. So, best Raw of 2024, no doubt. Maybe there'll be a better one coming this year. I don't know, but that was fucking awesome. We got blood and the word fuck all in one segment. So, Mr. Justin, tell me, did this amp up the feud in your words?
Yeah, it did. Absolutely. Now, I have an issue with it, not with now with what they did, but when you have feuds like this now, and that you show blood, you have to continue this. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I want to see blood every week or anything like that, but I'm saying that, like, you can't have a feud with, let's say, in June, well, let's say with Cody Rhodes versus whoever on SmackDown, right? You can't have this without this type of intensity. It doesn't have to be blood, but it doesn't have to be like F-bombs, but like you have to toe that line. So as far as the segment itself, great, fantastic, one of the best Raws in the last like 10 years, 15 years, whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? But yeah, to me though, like it's a tad bit of an issue because I know what WWE is gonna go back to after WrestleMania season. Maybe they stick with it. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, no, I thought it was great. Thought it was great. It's exactly what you need to do. Is this exactly what you have to have? This is the type of heat that you need to have going into a WrestleMania. and we have SmackDown, and we also have Raw next week. So yeah, we'll see how this continues here, but it's exactly the direction it needs to go into right now. So I thought it was fantastic.
Do you think that the blood segment was a Rock call, or do you think it was a TKO call, or both?
TK ain't gonna make that call. TK ain't gonna make that call. That's a Rock call and a Rock call only. Like, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure Cody's like, "Hey, can I Blake for once?" Maybe, you know what I mean. But again, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of an issue because it's like, can Cody still have this type of influence on storylines without The Rock? Right?
I think so.
You know what I mean?
I personally
maybe,
think so.
Maybe, but okay. So, all right. So, what about a feud between Gunther and Chad Gable? Let's just say, right? Like, not to say that blood is needed for that feud, but like, can we get blood to simulate the hazards of working with Gunther, or maybe blood can be used to like really put over Chad Gable if he does end up beating Gunther. Like, imagine like a bloody Chad Gable, defeating Gunther. Like, that'll be incredible. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I said, I'm cool with it. I'm for it. Right? I know it's a Rock call. You know what I mean? It's definitely a Rock call, but we'll just see what happens after this here. And is this gonna go towards the rest of the roster, or is this gonna be top guys like The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman and Seth Rollins, guys like that? You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, I really just think it's just a Rock thing right now. I'm not gonna be anticipating any blood, outside this feud going forward. If we do get it, great. But I just don't want fans to like, oh, blood's back, Attitude Era's back, and I've been seeing like all this here. I'm like, it's really just with The Rock. You got guys like Cedric Alexander on Twitter saying like, oh, so we can cuss now? We can really cuss now? No, you can't cuss, Cedric. The Rock can because he's the fucking Rock. So. Well,
I'm going to cut you off, but like, so let me just kind of like, segue into the Punk thing, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So like, we all know that Raw is going to Netflix next year. And then, Punk, said some things in his promo where he said, or he referred to Seth Rollins and, Drew, where he was like, I can't be, impartial to these two dipshits. And then he said something before where he was like, I think he made like a Netflix and chill joke or something like that. And he's like, I know we're not on Netflix yet, but April gets the joke. So do you think maybe this is kind of like, I know we just kind of agree that this is like a Rock thing, but do you think maybe this is also kind of like a, let's see how this works out in this era before we go to Netflix kind of thing?
I mean, possibly. I mean, but again, CM Punk's gonna say whatever the hell he wants to. So, what I mean? So like he has that, he has that type of leeway like The Rock. You know what I mean? Like, can I expect Candice LeRae going out there and saying fucking shit? No. If she does say that, then I'm pretty sure that it was probably like a one-time only thing, but like she can't just get like regular leeway with that. Like Punk could go out there and say it. You know what I mean? Seth, he's shown it before. Cody, Rock, Roman, right? They can say it, but like again, it depends where you're at on the card. Depends who you are. It's not gonna give. They're not gonna let everyone have that type of language. They're not gonna let everyone bleed and get heat like that. So it just depends who you are. So we'll see though. We'll see what happens. When they go to Netflix. But as of right now, I'm not really looking. I'm not looking for it. If it happens, it happens. Great. If not, then whatever. You know what I mean? It's not gonna affect me liking the show more or less. You know what I mean? Cussing and blood is to enhance the show. It should not be the reason why you should like a show or not.
I get you. I also think like this is gonna sound weird. Okay, so like whenever they do go on Netflix, you said something that I do agree with is like if you're gonna bleed, a lot of your top guys that should probably be reserved for them depending on the match. Like Hell in a Cell needs blood. You know, especially if it's like a blood feud or a street fight or, you know, a cage match in general. Like, that needs blood. Like, how many Hell in a Cell matches have we seen where there hasn't really been any consequences or, like, bruises, for example? So I'm glad that Hell in a Cell isn't a pay-per-view anymore, and they're just making it, you know, they're going back to it just being like a blood feud thing. And if that's the case, that match definitely does need blood. And, you know, again, you know, are you going to, like you would ask, are you going to reserve it more for your top guys and top feuds? I would think yes. For someone like Cody, I would think blood works better to get something over, kind of like this feud. And also, depending on who you're working with. Like Gunther, for example. Gunther chops the shit out of everybody, and their fucking chest is already bleeding. So I don't really think they need blood in particular, unless he's going to, like, beat the shit out of them, like, crack their skull open. But yeah, you're right about anything. Like, you know, if there's not blood in every single match, or someone isn't saying fuckity fuck in every promo, it's not going to make me like something less, or like make me like something more. So, but just, yeah, this is what this feud needed. This really needed it. I wasn't even expecting it, and I'm glad it happened, because it just.
I mean, it was. I pretty much expected the blood as soon as reports were coming out about it. Halfway into the show, so
I didn't see reports.
Yeah, who reported? Russell Votes, I believe. SRS reported on it as well. So yeah, it was out there during the show.
Well, I obviously I didn't see it. I'm not trying to say you're lying. I just didn't see it. Yeah, this is definitely what it needed to make The Rock look more vicious and to really gain more sympathy for Cody. But let me ask you one more thing before we get to the CM Punk part of the show. Do you think that bit where they showed in the backdrop Austin and Cena on the production truck, do you think that was done by design?
Coincidence.
I disagree.
Coincidence. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I'm just gonna say coincidence right now.
Okay. We'll just kind of leave it at that. So CM Punk came back. CM Punk back for the first time since the night after Rumble, after he announced that he will be taking time off after an injury at the Rumble where he injured his triceps. He just had surgery. Punk came out, of course, you know, to a hero's welcome. He's, you know, God in Chicago. And just, you know, cut his promos talking about everything that's been going on. Even made a Jim Cornette reference where he addressed Pat McAfee and said, I haven't had time to listen to your podcast. I'm more of a fan of the experience in the drive-thru, which I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette is going to have a field day with that on his show. And I'm pretty sure if this was Kevin Dunn, he'd be having a heart attack as soon as he heard that. But man, I love the Triple H era. But of course, he's talking, and then he says, everyone's been talking about me, especially one guy. And then Drew McIntyre comes out, and then CM Punk says, cut his stupid-ass music. And, you know, telling Drew, get your ass in the ring, get your bitch ass in the ring, calling him a coward. And then, of course, Drew kind of just, you know, being almost like the devil's advocate kind of heel of like, you know, I'm just telling you what you already know or what you already don't know or whatever like that. Gets on the announcer's table, you know, sits crisscross like Punk. He makes a joke where he's saying, you know, don't shoot up my skirt, perverts. Tells Punk, you know, for a guy who talks about being straight edge, you know, you spent an awful lot of time in rehab, which was good. And then, you know, Seth, of course, comes out, which I'll be honest, and I've been defending Seth, which is tough. It's a tough job. I thought Seth coming out kind of maybe brought the segment down, in my opinion. He just kind of can't, because here's my problem with the Seth and Drew feud, and I'm glad Punk is involved somewhat. I thought it was going to be a referee, but he's going to be an announcer, so cool. My problem with the Seth and Drew feud is that I can't tell who's the heel and who's the face. Because Seth on paper is supposed to be the face, but he acts more like a heel. And then Drew is supposed to be the heel, quote unquote, but he's getting booed and cheered by the crowd. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but I liked how they're blurring the lines of like, do these guys really hate each other in person? Because they're making out to be like Drew and Punk really hate each other in person, which I'm pretty sure maybe there's some truth to that. But at the end of the day, I think maybe Punk and Drew don't really hate each other as much as they make out to be. Maybe Punk and Seth don't like each other, or maybe Seth hates him more than Punk, but whatever. Like when Seth was doing the the thing with his song, the and Punk was like, "No, you're not gonna do this shit in my hometown." And then Seth tells him, "I want you to be here in this match. Do you want to be a referee or do you want to be an announcer?" And Punk says, "We only got one good working arm," and tries to even do the 1, 2, 3 count, but can't. So he says, "All right, fine, I'll be an announcer." And that's it. That's pretty much the end of the promo. I mean, there was more said after that. Drew, I think, kind of quoted "Stand" by Eminem to Punk, which I thought was funny. But overall, what'd you think about the segment?
That was fantastic. Segment of the year so far, promo of the year so far with all three. All three did fantastic. I thought Punk was the off-scripted CM Punk is what we wanted coming into WWE. So we're getting them. Drew did fantastic. Seth did great as well. I thought was really, really good. Especially Punk saying, "Who gave you that nickname? The Chosen One. Who gave you that?"
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Fuck, that was fucking amazing.
Like, jeez, man. Yeah. So I thought, yeah. So it was great. It was great. All 19 minutes of it was fantastic.
Yeah, just a great Raw. Overall, great Raw, and those two segments really carried it. The rest of the show wasn't that bad. I mean, you had some good matches, despite what some internet trolls think. You had Ricochet and JD McDonough, which was fucking fantastic. Fantastic match. They really just kind of let Ricochet kind of go off and just be himself and wrestle like the Ricochet that he was like in, not just in NXT, but everywhere else. And JD wasn't too shabby either. These two had an amazing back and forth match. It wasn't just like a quick 5-minute match. It was like 13 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. Yep. They gave him segments, so it was a 2-segment match. That fucking counter by Ricochet before he went for his shooting star press, that was amazing. That was incredible.
Ricochet's always been fantastic, man. Like, that's why I wish Will Ospreay would have came to WWE, man, because I would have loved to see him and Ricochet again. Ricochet's I don't think he gets his, I don't think he gets enough credit on how good he is.
Right. I don't know. Do you think The Office is high on Ricochet?
High is probably a strong word, but I think they're very fond of him. And they know what he can do in the ring. They know how talented he is, you know what I mean? But, I don't think they're going to, put the world title on him anytime soon either.
Well, as far as not putting a world title on him, do you think, maybe, a world title match is in his future?
Of course.
Right, okay. Fair enough. I wouldn't mind seeing that, because the fans like Ricochet. I like Ricochet. We'll see what happens, this year. You never know. Right. The rest of the show, Ivy Now and Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae doing her bad girl stuff. So that happened. DIY versus New Day, which ended in a DQ, or no contest after Judgment Day came out and beat the shit out of everybody, and they beat the shit out of R-Truth, who's on commentary. And the whole time he's like, I'm not wrestling tonight, I'm a commentator, and they still beat his ass, so cool. Andrade got a 2-segment match with Vinci, which Giovanni Vinci, which wasn't bad. Pretty good match. It's good to see Andrade back. It's good to see them using him to his strengths, and he's hasn't lost a beat, and Vinci's not too bad either. Let's see. Becky Lynch interrupts Rhea Ripley. and then Rhea. I don't know. Again, I like Becky, but I'm just not feeling this feud. Like, to me, like, I don't doubt that the match at Mania is going to be bad. Like, it's going to be good. Or maybe I should reverse my words. I don't doubt that the match at Mania is going to be good. It's still going to be a good match. But I don't know. I wasn't feeling this promo, just personally to me. Like, her crying on cue when she starts talking about her child and her, losing her dad, unfortunately. Not trying to make fun of that. I'm just saying,
that's the reason why I did like it. I mean,
right?
Shows raw emotion from her, and it wasn't like blubbering crying. Like she was pissed off and crying. Like, what I mean? It's like, I mean, I like emotion like that because it's like, I mean,
right.
There's real people out there who who have kids and and their parents never get to see their kids because either they pass away or wherever the case may be. So. I enjoyed it due to the realism behind it, and there was a reason behind it at the end of the day. It wasn't anything fake with it, you know what I mean? So,
right.
I liked it. I thought it enhances the story a little bit for Becky, and the reason for her to go after this title.
Right, but it's just like when you hear the crowd chanting "Mommy," to Rhea while Becky.
That's okay. They're in Chicago. I can give two shits about the crowd.
Okay.
I can give two shits about the crowd, so I don't let the crowd influence what I think about a segment or something like that. So, but I didn't think the segment was like the best ever or anything like that. But I thought I got his point across, and I thought Becky did a very good job.
All right,
also Rhea Ripley too.
Yeah, like Rhea, said, I don't have to do too much except for, spread my cheeks on social media, and these fans will eat it up.
Speaking of, did you see the Logan Paul impulsive interview with Rhea?
It's on my watch list on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet, but I will tomorrow.
Yeah, I watched it today. It was pretty good. It was good.
No, I don't doubt. I like impulsive. I've watched the last few ones that he had with like Orton and Cena, and I think. I saw the one with Mysterio. Yeah, I did see that one. So, but I'll watch it tomorrow. And this is also announced that CM Punk will be on Ariel Helwani's show on Monday.
That's gotta be a fucking oh my god.
That's
gonna be something else right there. I can tell you that.
Yeah, April 1st is gonna be big. I mean, not just because it's April Fool's Day, but who gives a shit? But I mean, you have Raw in Brooklyn. You have The Rock and Roman coming out. The go-home show of Mania. And you have CM Punk on Ariel Helwani. So Monday's going to be huge for wrestling.
Well, I mean, the whole week's going to be huge, because you got that. You also have, I think Pat McAfee show is going to be at WWE World, like on Friday. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a lot of news and interviews next week, too, as well, because WrestleMania week. So, yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, he's going to have Triple H and Cody on his show. So that should be pretty fun.
What are we talking about, Pat McAfee?
Yeah, Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Next, you had Sami Zayn versus Big Bronson Reed. There was some blood in this match. Bronson looks like he busted his nose. I love Bronson. I adore Bronson. I wish he was a little bit more higher on the card, but, what can you do? But he's doing what he can to get noticed, and it's working. He's getting over. People love him when he does that splash. Going into this match, Sami Zayn's whole thing with Gunther is Gunther doesn't take him seriously. And Gunther's getting in his head, and while they're out there having the match, Gunther, stands on the not the apron, but on the entrance ramp, watching the match. And Sami just gets too distracted, and eventually Bronson wins clean with a big splash, which I wasn't really expecting. I was kind of expecting Sami to kind of, win the match. But how do you feel about Sami taking L's going into Mania?
I don't think it matters really in this situation because of the distraction. It wasn't like he lost clean.
Right. I don't know.
I mean, he lost clean. That's different, but he didn't lose clean.
Okay, I was muted. Yeah, I just if you're really gonna build up Sammy as this like white meat babyface, as a threat to Gunther, even though he probably won't win at Mania, just at least give him some wins. But I don't know, that's just me. But you're right, I really don't care personally. Right, so that was Raw. Raw was great. Raw of the year so far. If anything else dares to come after it. And now we're on to NXT, which is every Tuesday, of course. The show opened with Dijak and Shawn Spears, who had an incredible match. I know there's people that aren't too crazy about Shawn Spears' role on the show. I'm fine with it. He's just there to put people over. That's Shawn Spears' job. That's anyone's job that goes from the main roster to NXT is to put people over, especially Shawn Spears. So he had a great match with Dijak. I like Dijak. Shawn Spears is kind of quietly doing his feud with Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy coming from under the ring and stealing Shawn Spears' chair. So Shawn can't cheat or do anything with his chair. And then Dijak gets the win. And then later on in the night, you see Shawn Spears outside, talking to one of the interviewers. And Joe Gacy's on top of the performance center, and he throws his chair all the way onto the ground. And Obafemi is right there to see it happen. And Joe Gacy's like, I'm sorry, Oba, I didn't see you there. But again, fantastic match between Dijak and Spears. And then later on, they set up the triple threat that's going to be next week at Stand and Deliver with Dijak, Briggs, and Obafemi, which should be a fucking ultimate Haas match. I can't wait for that. What'd you think about the match and the segments?
The match was okay. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. It was good. Both men are very good at what they do. As far as the triple threat match coming up at Stand Deliver, it's gonna be a damn good match. As I mentioned, I think Josh Briggs has a good chance of being in the main event picture this year, and then this is step one, and we're just getting towards April. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, I thought the match, like I said, the opening match, I thought was good. Pretty good for what it was.
Do you like that Briggs is using the clothesline from hell?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I like it.
He's the type of guy that can work it in his arsenal for sure.
Right, because I remember a lot of people saying that he's kind of like a Bradshaw-esque type, where he's like the next Bradshaw, and then Bradshaw came on NXT and did a segment with him, so now he's using the clothesline from hell, and it looked great for him because he's a big hoss, he's a big burly looking motherfucker. So it works for him, and I like him. I like that he's getting over, and I agree with you. I think he's gonna be. I don't know about NXT champion.
Not champion, but he'll be in that. Yeah, he'll be in that main event scene. He'd be a top 2-3 guy, or 3 or 4 guy on NXT for sure.
Right.
Unless you get like a whole bunch of like AEW guys come out, like Ricky Starks and.
Sure.
Just other guys like that coming in. Okay, that may delay it, but
let me just kind of skim through the rest of the show. You have Thea Hale, who's back with Chase Yu. She wrestled Jasmine Nix. Jasmine Nix had JC Jane. Thea Hale won with a submission hold, and then Kalani Jordan and what's her name? The country girl. What's her name?
Fallon Henley.
There you go, to kind of even the odds. So that's probably going to be a six woman tag match at the pay per view. Metaphor will be the host of Stand and Deliver. So
I love Metaphor. They're fucking great.
Oh, they're great. I love them. Lola Vice came out to issue an open challenge to anybody in the locker room, and then Natalya came out. And you know how I feel about Natalya. The match was fine. But Natalya won, so I don't know, whatever. Maybe they think highly of Lola because they consider Natalya a legend, but I don't know.
I don't understand. I just didn't understand that. Like, you bring Natalya out, great, whatever. Like, I don't have anything against Natalya.
Right.
But you have this up-and-coming Lola Vice, like, I don't know. They just kind of put themselves into a corner on that one.
Do you think Lola should have just like won as like a heel?
Won the match as a heel?
Yeah, like won in heel fashion. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, like a quick roll up or a poke in the eyes or hold the tights or something.
Right? Because like Petrovich came out, and I don't know, like how you should have done that is like Lola's shit talking Petrovich, and then as Natalya's trying to attack her from behind, Lola ducks and she hits Petrovich, and then Lola can like take advantage of the situation. So I don't know. I would have preferred if Lola won if you really want to get her over, but that's just me. The Ilya Dragunov versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Good match. I mean, Ilya doesn't really have bad matches, and Stacks is really good.
Yeah, he's improved a lot.
Yeah, he's a hell of a wrestler. He's on my list for most improved. Or one of them. That's what I meant. Stacks breaks, quote unquote, Ilya's fingers in the match the whole time. Ilya's selling that the fact, that his fingers are dislocated. Of course, he wins. And
Ilya can sell me a ketchup popsicle.
Yeah, and you'd buy it. Could he sell you Houston Astros tickets?
Come on, why would you say that?
I'm asking it straight. I'm just asking.
No, he cannot.
All right, just thought I'd try that out.
Yeah, you know the Dashers are the devil. Come on, man.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to experiment. And then Don told his consigliere to invite the Mad Dragon to a special dinner next week. So we'll see how that works out.
Someone's gonna be slipping with the vicious.
Oof. Well, we'll find out. Ridge Holland, he made an announcement last week that he was going to do something that people wanted, or he wanted, or I forgot how he worded it.
That you want him to do or something.
Yeah. Ridge Holland came out to announce that he was going to be stepping away from in-ring action indefinitely, which people actually cheered. Or I think like a small portion of people cheered, but
that was fucked up. But whatever.
Right.
I mean, I know it's all kayfabe and shit, but fuck, man, still like.
Right. I mean, I got no issue with Ridge Holland. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but just that was a little fucked up. And then
and something were to happen to him, knock on wood. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, like, pray for Ridge. No, you're just fucking cheering that you wish that he would retire. Now something bad happened to him. Now what? You fucking fake fans? Sorry.
Right. Again, I don't hate him. But I mean, I don't know if this is a work or if this is real.
It's a work. He went on Twitter, made the video of it. Like, this is all part of a storyline. Like, I don't know where they're leading towards with this, but it's a story, so I'm just gonna let it develop.
A lot of the show was very vignette heavy, which I liked. Preferably the not Swerve, Hayes and Trick Williams bit, which seemed like something out of like HBO Sports, and I loved it. And was it Jeremy Borash? I think produced those.
Yeah, it was very good.
Very good. Very very much focusing on Trick, really trying to get him over as the sympathetic babyface. You even had CM Punk and Randy Orton and was it Cody Rhodes, and I think Booker T came out to kind of like put him over. Punk really kind of being the dramatic one, saying, sometimes, getting stabbed in the back by your brother hurts the deepest. I'm like, ooh, that got me right here. Like that got me right here. And then he gets Mello, who of course is being the dick heel, saying that, Trick was my side guy. He was my hype guy. But that's all he was going to be. He tried to get bigger than me. And that was his mistake. And I love this. This was amazing. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. But that was amazing. Great shit. They definitely should main event the show. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They should main event the show. And then you had promo packages for Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez I thought was the best because I like this version of her. She seems like she's taking advice from Drew McIntyre and just being honest about yourself and to the fans. Kind of saying what I was saying about her, which was she was stuck in that I'm happy to be here mode. And that's what she worded is like, I was happy to be here. I was happy, Roxanne. I was happy, and I was being nice to the fans even after I lost my title. I still tried to keep my chin up, but then I got pissed off and I wanted my title back. And I like it because it doesn't feel forced. It almost feels genuine, like she's genuinely pissed off. And I like, again, like I mentioned with Punk and Drew and Seth, I like when wrestling can blur the lines of what's true and what's not true, and I'm loving that. I'm loving this new Roxanne. Lyra's was, I just said Lyra. Lyra's was it was good, but it wasn't as strong as Roxanne's was. Not to say it was bad, but it wasn't as strong as it could have been. But what'd you think about both packages?
Oh, both packages was great. I mean, Roxy, she's improved tremendously over time, not just like her coming to NXT, but like ever since I've been seeing her, out on the indies here in South Texas. So, Lyra, know how I feel about her. I think she's a star. She's a star at the end of the day.
Right.
I thought her promo was good, for what it was. So, I can't wait to see this match. It's gonna be a very, very damn good match.
Oh yeah.
At Stand Deliver. So.
Yes, sir. And that was all the vignettes for the night. Yeah, Josh Briggs versus Duke Hudson, which was a decent match. Duke Hudson is someone that's shown improvement. Ever since the rebrand of NXT in 2021. Him, Tiffany Stratton, Tony D'Angelo, they've all shown massive improvement. So I'm glad to see Duke Hudson a part of that list. And then of course Josh Briggs is good. He's on his way to being a star. And then afterwards, you had you had Dijak on commentary, which there was a bit where like Briggs starts talking shit to Dijak, and Dijak goes, "I'll have you ratioed," which has become Dijak's like catchphrase on Twitter is ratio, which I don't know what that means. And then Oba came out to kind of like stalk the crowd or stalk them, and said, as Stand and Deliver, it's going to be a triple threat match. So Oba, Oba being, the big badass and accepting all challengers and not just running away from fights. He's like, yeah, I'll take both of you. So I like that. All right. The main event I missed, so I had to kind of go back and rewatch it. The Wolf Dogs versus Alpha Academy in a tag team qualifier. That fucking, was it that like spear counter from Breaker was fucking amazing. Like
spear counter? You talking about when he was in the electric chair and he did the power slam?
I thought it was a spear, but anyways, it looked fucking amazing. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, you're talking about when he was on both shoulders, right? Yeah. That was the WrestleMania 9 spot.
Okay.
His dad did that spot at WrestleMania 9 against the Head Shrinkers.
Okay, then I'm wrong about everything. That was a fucking amazing spot. Like Braun, just after Stand and Deliver, he needs to drop those titles and just focus on main roster shit. Because
he needs to drop them at Stand and Deliver.
Well, that's what I meant. But
okay.
Yeah, like this guy's already on his way to being a star. He's just on NXT just for funsies, just to kind of finish up shit. This guy's a freak. This guy's a physical freak. And he's going to be a main event player like sooner rather than later. But I thought it was a good match. I like Otis. I like Tozawa. I think Baron is, Corbin has been doing some of his best work in NXT since going back. And I like him and Braun together. So, that was the NXT report. Overall, what'd you think about NXT?
Good show. Good show. Good build up towards Stand Deliver. Good promos. Several good matches on there. NXT is very enjoyable to watch,
as it always is. So we're at an hour. We're on hour 3. So If we go an hour 45, so be it. Let's talk a little bit about AEW, and then we'll get to the news, and then ratings, and if we have time on this day in wrestling history. I watched AEW. I watched the entire episode of Dynamite tonight, and it wasn't terrible. It was actually enjoyable for the most part. Preferably the main event. I thought the main event was really good. You had Swerve versus Takeshita, I'm sorry. I was saying on here, and you're probably going to disagree with me, I thought this was maybe the best wrestling match I've seen Swerve in a while. Well, I wasn't crazy about his feud with Paige, but I think wrestling as Takeshita really showed that he can work and that he can kind of like change up his game. And I'm a fan of Swerve. I've always been a fan of Swerve. I was always baffled, when he was in NXT and he's like putting over Leon Ruffin. And it's like, this guy looks like a star. He looks like he can be something. And then, we kind of knew what that was. And then he gets fired from WWE after being on the roster for like 2 weeks. So, I'm glad to see him get over in AEW to kind of being used to his full potential and being the star that, we know he is. But I liked the match with Takeshita. I thought it was really good. Good back and forth action. And, yeah. But overall, for Dynamite tonight, what'd you think about the whole show in general?
It wasn't as good as the last couple weeks, but I still thought tonight's show was a fairly decent show. The opener was great. Shibata and Ospreay, great. Shibata can still go. Despite how old he is, he can still go in the ring. Did like the that fatal 4-way with the women. Mercedes out there as well, so I thought that was pretty good. So I thought that was good for what it was. Young Bucks and Private Party, good match. Sloppy Andy though, very sloppy Andy. It felt like someone was off though. Like I don't know if Isaiah Cassidy got concussed or injured in the match, so something felt kind of off towards the end of that match. But still thought it was good for what it was, and the main event was fantastic. That was a fantastic main event.
Yes, sir. All right, so that was the Dynamite report. All right, so let's get to news. Let's talk about the news. All right, the Slammies. The Slammies are coming back for the first time since 2013. Am I right?
I don't know.
All right, so do you want to maybe do some Slammies predictions real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So we have the nominees out, and you can vote already. I've already voted. Female Superstar of the Year: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Io Sky, or Becky Lynch?
Rhea.
Male Superstar of the Year: Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins, Gunther, or Logan Paul. I'm not sure why he's on there.
The fans are going to vote for Cody.
Best Entrance: Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair. I'm not sure why she's on there. Seth Rollins, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, The Rock, Dominic Mysterio's WrestleMania 39 entrance.
Everyone gets their regular entrances, but Dom gets his special entrance. So in comparison, Dom has the best entrance. I mean, it doesn't in comparison, but you're just saying but people are gonna vote for Cody. So
I'm gonna go a little outside the box. I think The Rock's new entrance, I think, is like 1,000 times better, even though it's like a month old.
Either people are gonna vote for Cody or Seth because this is something that they can sing along with. And I'm part of the entrance.
Why is Bianca on here?
I don't know. It's WWE. I don't know.
I mean,
they got. I'll put it to you this way: they got matches on there that shouldn't be on there. I'll tell you that.
Like, Bianca's theme isn't bad, but it's like, what's special about her entrance? She comes out and skips. But anyways, Dominic Mysterio's Mania entrance is pretty cool, but I'm gonna go with The Rock, especially The Rock's like month-old entrance. But people are probably gonna vote for Cody, so if it happens, it happens.
Cody or Seth, for sure.
Right. Return of the Year: CM Punk, The Rock, Nia Jax, Randy Orton, or Naomi? CM Punk. Come on. Faction of the Year: Judgment Day, Alpha Academy, Imperium, Bloodline, or Damage Control?
I think people are probably gonna pick not damage control. Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, I think people are gonna pick Judgment Day.
Rivalry of the year: Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio, Bianca Belair versus Damage Control, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, or R-Truth versus the Judgment Day.
Roman versus Cody.
I'll go for Roman versus Cody. NXT Superstar of the Year: Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, or Braun Breaker. This is tough.
Because it's like Trick not being on there really threw a wrench into that.
Because my heart says Ilya, because I love Ilya, but I'm thinking they're probably going to go with either Braun or Tiffany.
I think maybe...
And I like Tiffany.
Tiffany. I think they're going to go with Tiffany. Like,
All
the fans, you can see how over she is on the main roster already. I think regular fans are going to vote Tiffany.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't hate it, because I love Tiffany. But yeah, the fans are going to go for Tiffany. Match of the year: Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest from Backlash, which that was great. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn in Elimination Chamber. Gunther versus Chad Gable from Raw September 4th. Asuka versus Bianca versus Charlotte for SummerSlam. That match actually wasn't that good. Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39.
Jesus Christ. They didn't even have the best Gunther match on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even the best Gunther match.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. These are terrible choices.
I mean, the Bad Bunny Damian Priest one was good, especially Bad Bunny just coming out and just getting
that's the best match on this list, but it's not even a top.
So you're saying Charlotte? And Rhea wasn't good?
Oh, that's the WrestleMania 39. Oh, yeah, that's my match right there. I thought you. No, I for some reason I heard Charlotte versus Becky, which I was thinking like, when did they wrestle last year?
And then Roman and Sammy. I think the moment was bigger, but the match itself was kind of like, it was okay.
Yeah, no. It's out of those, it's Charlotte versus Rhea. Like that's
Charlotte Rhea.
That's the only right answer there.
The OMG moment of the year: Rey Mysterio punches Dominic Mysterio on SmackDown March 24th. That was when Dom. Yeah, got a big pop. That was when Dom told his mom to shut up. And then Ray punches him and says, "Don't talk to your mom that way." CM Punk returns to WWE. That's more than likely going to win. That's my choice. Io Sky cashing in at Money in the Bank, or cashing in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam. The Rock slaps Cody Rhodes at press conference. Damage Control turns on Bayley. Cody Rhodes slaps The Rock.
Why is Cody Rhodes slapping The Rock a big moment?
I don't know. It's a popularity contest, dude. We know.
What the fuck? It's either Punk for sure or The Rock slapping Cody. But if they're just talking about Rock slapping Cody, like they're not even talking about like the whole. If they just say like that whole press event, that probably would have went with that whole press event because that was unreal. But I'm going with Punk.
Okay, Punk it is. Punk is me as well. Social Star of the Year, or Social Media Star of the Year: Grayson Waller, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Chelsea Green, or Liv Morgan. Why is Liv Morgan on this list? Liv Morgan. Or, I'm sorry, Logan Paul, Jesus Christ. Not Liv Morgan.
No, Liv Morgan, she's pretty active on social media from what I see.
But compared to Logan Paul or Chelsea or Drew...
No, I'm not saying that she's going to win. I'm just saying that she's active on social media.
No. Well, my question is, what does she do that stands out, kind of like Logan or Drew or Grayson or even Chelsea? Like, what does she do that makes people go...
I mean, I think she's on the same level as Chelsea Green.
I disagree.
Social media-wise, at least.
Again, agree to disagree.
Breakout... I mean, what was Chelsea Green done significantly on social media?
She's a lot more entertaining and funnier than Liv. All Liv does is just hashtag watch me and post pictures of fans on her shirt. That's literally all she does. But
I don't think you're watching her social media then.
Anywho, breakout superstar of the year: Jey Uso, Tiffany Stratton, Pretty Deadly, Dragon Lee, or LA Knight?
LA Knight.
LA Knight. Yeah. That is our Slammies predictions. All right, so let's see what else we got, or what else I have in the news. Producers for Raw. The producer for the Cody and Rock promo at the beginning of the show was Michael Hayes and Bobby Roode. Ricochet and JD McDonough. Petey Williams was the producer. You can see his influence on that match. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. It was Adam Pearce, the general manager of Raw. Ivy Now and Candice LeRae, Kenny Dykstra. The New Day versus DIY was Jamie Noble. Andrade versus Giovanni Vinci was Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan also did the Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch promo. Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed, Sean Daivari. And the main event, including the Rock and Cody segment, was done by Michael Hayes and Bobby Roode yet again. So Michael Hayes and Bobby Roode taking care of the main event shtick. So cool. All right. More news. What else we got? Alexa Bliss is back at it in the gym. Bliss hasn't been in the ring since January of 2023. I believe that was the Rumble. That was in San Antonio last year. She had that match with Bianca Belair. She just posted on Twitter, back at it. And USA Network replied, let's go. What do you think about Alexa Bliss possibly coming back? Or coming back soon?
I don't think this is an indication of her coming back. I mean, she's probably just working out. She probably just wanted to take a picture. Working out.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, if she comes back, great. I mean, be happy for her. I'm pretty sure she has a lot of, a lot of things that she wants to close. You know what I mean, including like with Bray and all that stuff. But like, we can't really like let's say for example, I'll give you a great example. Oh, Stone Cold's in the gym. Oh my God, he's gonna be at WrestleMania. He's gonna be at WrestleMania 39. Remember those rumors last year? Oh, he's gonna be at WrestleMania 39. He's gonna have a match and this, that, and the other. How come it can't just be Stone Cold wanting to work out and just show that he's still in great shape? Like, you know what I mean? So I don't really take anything to this here. I mean, if she comes back, great. Like, because I like Alexa. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's some, there's a few chapters up in her book, but maybe she wants to be a mother, and she, same thing with Carmella. Like, once Carmella starts working out, you think people think she's gonna be coming back immediately. I mean, maybe she just wants to get back in shape.
Sure.
And not have a mother body.
No, I get you. Speaking of Bray, so in accordance to Monday being a big day for wrestling, right after Monday Night Raw will be the Becoming Bray Wyatt, or was it Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal?
Something like that, yeah. Which
that's gonna be big. That's gonna be a big documentary. It was already emotional in the trailer. So yeah, Monday's gonna be a big day for wrestling, not just for Mania, but just wrestling in general. Are you gonna watch it right after Raw, or are you gonna wait?
I'll probably wait a couple days.
Okay. It looks great. There's not gonna be a dry eye after watching that documentary. It's gonna be good. Undertaker will also be doing the narration for it, so that should be interesting. All right. Next is a segment I'm gonna call "Is Bill Goldberg Becoming Ryback?" So Goldberg was on a podcast for Tim Green called "Nothing Left Unsaid," where he believes that WWE tried to tarnish his image when he eventually got there by having Asuka beat his historic 173-0 win streak. He says, well, a girl beat my winning streak. Asuka, or I think he said Asuka, is her name, some Japanese girl, and they touted her as being the one to have the longest winning streak. And it just so happened that accumulated when I got there. He also said, and then it just so happened that every single wrestler uses the spear in their moves, right? Ironic that happened when I got there. So that's how they do it, said Goldberg. So, and then there was a while back where he talked about, Vince McMahon promised him, a retirement match after he, in his words, I went to Saudi Arabia and I put over Roman Reigns. Almost like he was doing them a big favor. Like it's something that he felt he had to do, which is just like, that's your fucking job, dipshit. So, I think do you think Goldberg is just becoming Ryback? As far as like someone who's just very bitter, obviously?
No, I don't think he's bitter. I mean, he's just telling his side of the story of, as far as like, he just promised him a retirement match. He just didn't get it. You know what I mean? Maybe there was some incentives that was involved. Like, we don't know the full story. You know what I mean? We just both sides to every story. You know what I mean? Like, Ryback's a miserable piece of shit. Like, I don't really.
And you're saying Goldberg isn't?
I mean, I haven't really seen anything where I determine that he's miserable. Like, what does he have to be miserable about?
Exactly. It's like that's kind of how I feel. It's like, dude, you're rich, you have money. What do you have to be miserable about? And
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's miserable.
I don't know. I just think he's just being an asshole. Just what he said, where he's like, I put over Roman Reigns, so where's my retirement match? It's like, well, Roman Reigns is the top guy, so you should be putting him over. Just like you should have put over Bray Wyatt, but whatever the fuck. And then just this comment of being dismissive about Asuka, saying she's some Japanese girl. So just.
Well, I mean, it's. I don't really see it like that, but to each their own.
But yeah, that's episode 1 of is Goldberg becoming Ryback. That might be a daily segment depending on what happens.
I mean, I don't see that, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and Ryback's he's deplorable.
Okay, so we agree. So we agree on something. Ryback is a fucking miserable.
No, he's deplorable. Like, he really is. But I don't really see that with Goldberg. Not yet, at least. Not yet.
All right. Good news. Maurice announced that she is cancer-free. She had recently announced that she was diagnosed with a serious borderline ovarian tumor and would need to undergo surgery to remove them. In a very positive update, Maurice took to Instagram to announce that she's tumor-free following her recent surgery, posting the following message. As you know, 2 weeks ago, I went into surgery to have my ovaries, uterus, tubes, cervix, Jesus Christ, omentum removed. I also had staging removal of the lymph nodes in my abdomen to see if the disease had spread. Pathology confirmed that it had not, which is amazing news. More amazing news is that I am tumor-free. The diagnosis did confirm that I had primary, this is going to be a mouthful, peritoneal serous borderline tumors with involvement of ovaries, uterus, and tubes. Just to give you an idea of the rarity, 7 cases per million of women in the U.S. per year. The fact that we not only found this, but found this at this manageable stage is unbelievable and literally saved my life, as this would have been most likely lethal. Next, I will continue to rest following my surgery, and then we'll follow up with specialists at MD Anderson in Houston. I can never say thank you enough to my doctor at Dr. I'm not going to attempt to say that name, so I'm not going to try. And her team, thank you. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of support I'm getting from family, friends, and fans all over the world. To all my women, please keep being your own advocate and trust yourself always. 3 red heart emojis, Maurice said in a post. So good news. Maurice is cancer-free, cancer tumor-free. I'm happy because I like Maurice. When good people are still healthy and still living, that's always good. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's strong, man. And the Miz, he's very lucky to have a woman like Maurice. Not for her looks, but obviously, she's just a good person in general. So, wishing Maurice a speed recovery, and hopefully, there are no flare ups or anything like that. Hopefully, She stays very, very healthy for years to come, for not only for the Miz, but for children as well.
Yes, sir. We had some good news. Now we might have some potential sad news. Jim Ross has faced numerous health challenges in the past year, but has been gradually recovering and is able to resume his duties in AEW. Ross posted on social media that he's undergoing a procedure to have 3 ports removed from his chest, marking a positive milestone in his recovery journey. He wrote, "Back at you, hospital, getting 3 ports in my chest removed. Another step in the healing process." And I mean, it's not really sad news. It's more just like, oh, well, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, it's just really more of an update. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's all right. I mean, he's one of the legends in the business, and it seems like, from what I heard, I think he's gonna be staying with AEW. From what I heard, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
but
he signed a big ass contract.
Yeah, yeah. So good. he deserves every penny that he gets. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, hope he. I just really hope that he continues to improve his health, and he's had falls. Several falls over the last few years. So hopefully he continues to improve his health.
Yes, sir. Meek Mill set for WrestleMania 40. On the most recent episode of Raw, WWE seemingly confirmed an appearance from rapper Meek Mill at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. A vignette aired that simply said Meek Mill with the WrestleMania hashtag. Yeah, that's really about it, because Meek Mill kind of put on social media that he's a fan and his kids are a fan of Mania, and he's also a Philadelphia native. And then Triple H responded, saying, "I got you." So now Meek Mill will appear at Mania, most likely. I'm assuming to perform, maybe even get involved somehow. But thoughts on Mr. Mill appearing at Mania?
I mean, if he appears, great. I always love Meek Mill, so it'll be good if he performs. Great. I mean, obviously he's gonna perform Nightmares and Dreams, or Dreams and Nightmares. So, yeah.
Is Meek Mill
we're just hip hop classics? So I'm not gonna complain. So.
Right. Is Meek involved in some kind of weird thing with P. Diddy?
Dude, I don't know. I'm not even trying to follow that story right now.
I mean, I'm not gonna get deep like that because it was a wrestling show. But if anyone has any comments or anything about that, because I heard something like they're calling Meek Mill Meek the Freak. Again, I'm not trying to get too deep into that, but which pretty.
I've seen several videos on it already, and I'm just gonna keep my mouth quiet on that one.
Okay, yeah, me too. If anyone has any comments, leave it in the chat. Right. Next bit of news: Drew McIntyre, the latest on his WWE contract status. He has yet to sign an extension. Drew McIntyre's contract is expected to expire after WWE WrestleMania 40. However, it is widely believed within WWE that a new agreement will be reached eventually. As we all know, McIntyre will challenge World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins on Night 2 of Mania. According to a report on PW Insider, McIntyre has told those close to him that he is yet to finalize a new WWE agreement. McIntyre's camp suggests that no official agreement has been signed, and the upcoming decision will focus on family and a major piece of the decision. So, thoughts on Drew? Not me, but Drew McIntyre.
If he wins the title, that means he resigned.
Okay. That kind of explains it. Right. And then last bit of news is something that kind of came across my eye. So, WWE developed consensual relationship policy in June of 2023. For the first time ever, WWE's policy detailing their standing regarding consensual relationships within the company has come to light. WWE implemented the policy in June of 2023, which covers sexual and or romantic relationships within the workplace. The 3-page document notes that an employee is prohibited from engaging in a relationship with someone whom they have a supervisory role over. A relationship with another employee must be reported to Human Resources in order to address any potential conflict of interest that may arise. The document also encourages relationships with WWE board members or any names in high authority, such as the CEO, President, CFO, Chief Content Officer, Chief Legal Officer, or Chief Human Resources Officer. The policy was introduced after Vince McMahon's return to WWE in January 2023. The billionaire had stepped down in 2022 following sexual harassment allegations. And then Vince McMahon retired for a second time in January of 2024. I guess old Vince didn't follow through on the policy. So, any thoughts on that?
I mean, not really. I mean, nah. Not really. I mean, it right now it doesn't like really matter. It doesn't really matter because like the whole Vince stuff, there's still is still like, you know, in effect right now as far as like what's going on and like, you know, but I like it doesn't really matter like, oh, Bianca Belair and, you know, Montez Ford, like, oh, like, do I have to worry about them? Like, no, like, it's, you know what I mean? So it's really not my business really at the end of the day. Like, you know, the type of relationships that happen. Once it comes to light and, you know, we can give our opinions on them if it affects the business or affects television. But, like, I can care less, like, who's with who and what's going on and all that stuff. As long as it doesn't affect the company and as long as it doesn't affect the business and affect TV, then that's all I care about.
All right. Exactly. Let's get the ratings. I have the ratings right here. So let's start from last Friday. So Friday Night SmackDown, or I think I'm way off. Oh yeah, Rampage was last week after Dynamite. That's crazy. So Dynamite last week was an 800, drew an 800 in the rating, 0.27 in the demo, and the previous week it drew a 798, which so it was up, so which is good.
Nice.
And then the demos are the same. Rampage, which followed Dynamite right after, was a 541, and it was a 0.18 in the demo. And then Rampage the previous week was a 327, so they're actually up, so good for them. And they're up in the demo as well. Friday Night SmackDown from March 22nd was a 2.235. They were actually down. The previous week they were a 2.340 and a 0.68 in the demo, and they were a 0.61 last week, so they're actually down, which kind of makes sense because Rock was on the show. Monday Night Raw was a 1.729 and a 0.57 in the demo. The previous week they were a 1.687 and a 1.55, so the rating was actually up and the demo was up.
So the Punk segment with Rollins and McIntyre, that quarter drew a 2.2 million.
I saw that. Impressive.
Amazing.
NXT from last night drew a 601,000 and a 0.17 in the demo. The previous week they were a 569 and a 0.18. So they were up in the ratings, but fell a point behind in the demo. But still pretty good for NXT.
Oh yeah. So pretty much steady.
Yes, sir. And that's the ratings. Do you have any news?
I did, but for time constraints, we could skip.
I mean, we can go a few extra minutes if you want.
I already exited out of the news stories anyway.
Okay. We got about an hour 32. I'll do this day in wrestling history, and then we'll call it a night. I'll skim through it. Cool. So today is March 27th. 1988. The very first Clash of the Championships event from Jim Crockett Promotions aired on free TV in the States from Greensboro, North Carolina. The event was similar to the WWF Saturday Night Main Event NBC show, and the first edition was scheduled on the same night as WrestleMania to attempt to eat into the success of WWF's major annual pay-per-view. Do you remember the card for that night, Justin?
Don't remember the exact card, but it was main event by Sting and Flair.
They wrestled to a 45-minute time limit draw. I watched that match when I used to do watch-alongs on the show when it was just me, and I watched that match. Great match. The rest of the card: Mike Rotunda defeated Jimmy Garvin in a College Rules match.
Yes, forgot about that.
The Midnight Express defeated the Fantastics by disqualification in an NWA United States Tag Team Championship match. The Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes were victorious over the Powers of Pain and Ivan Koloff in a barbed wire match.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That was shit. That was only like 3 minutes long. I remember that. That's shit.
Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard lost the NWA World Tag Team Championship to Lex Luger and Barry Windham. But that happened. 1988, WrestleMania, I believe it was 4. WrestleMania 4 took place in Atlantic City Convention Hall, man. And was referred to on air during the live broadcast as Trump Plaza, which was the neighboring hotel and casino owned and founded by Donald Trump. The main focus of this event was a 14-man tournament to crown a new, undisputed WWF World Champion. The title was vacated for the first time in its history based on the controversy and uncertainty birthed by the result of the recent Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant WWF title match on the main event.
So they had a 14-man tournament on the show. They had the full tournament on the show. You want to know how many matches on that WrestleMania?
Tell everybody.
Just take one quick guess.
It was a 14-man tournament, so 14 matches?
No, 16 matches. But
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
16 matches on the show.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was this. Yeah. When people say the worst WrestleManias and they don't mention 4, I kind of question their, if they even seen or even try to research all the WrestleManias. WrestleMania 4 is up there as far as one of the worst WrestleManias.
We should do something next week for our favorite WrestleManias and our least favorite WrestleManias.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe like a top 5 list, or we'll kind of compile our own. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, we should definitely do that just for the WrestleMania season. 1991, Jim the Anvil Neidhart made his debut as a color commentator alongside Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan on WWF Wrestling Challenge from Reno, Nevada.
Oh yeah, he was on Wrestling Challenge. Yeah, that's right.
2000. In Houston, Texas, on the go-home edition of WWF Raw, ahead of WrestleMania 2000, Mr. McMahon and The Rock defeated Shane McMahon and The Big Show in the tag team main event. Both Vince and Shane would be in their respective corners of The Rock and The Big Show for the Fatal 4-Way elimination match at WrestleMania in Anaheim, California, 6 days later.
Only for Vince to turn on The Rock anyway.
I never understood that main event, because it was just like, why not just make it Triple H and The Rock?
WrestleMania 2000, another one of the worst WrestleManias ever.
Yeah, I remember.
Not as bad as 4, but jeez, right. Man.
Even Triple H, like they're doing the feuds thing on A&E. Even Triple H was like, yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just go with me and The Rock in the main event, because the Fatal 4 match just was. It was kind of convoluted because it was an elimination.
They want to include Foley because they want to give Foley that moment of having a WrestleMania main event. So I don't know why Big Show needs to be in there, but I don't know. Whatever. Yeah,
because it's just like it was an elimination match, and Foley and Big Show got eliminated, and just came down to Triple H and Rock. So it's like,
and it was like Big Man in every corner,
California, yeah, that lame ass rap song. Ugh. Anywho. 2006, on the go-home edition of Raw ahead of WrestleMania 22, it was the Chairman versus the Champ, as John Cena picked up a disqualification win over Mr. McMahon due to the outside interference from Cena's WrestleMania opponent, Triple H. I remember that. 2008, TNA presented their first ever live edition of Impact from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. The main event was Christian Cage, Kevin Nash, Rhino, and Sting, versus AJ Styles, Brother Devon, Brother Ray, and Tomko in an 8-man tag team match. The Faces won, of course. 2015, Jay Briscoe retained the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title against Samoa Joe in the main event of Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor in Redwood City, California. This was notably the last Ring of Honor appearance for Samoa Joe, the man who held the Ring of Honor title for an astonishing and record-breaking 645 days. Do you remember that match?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And then lastly, 2016, at Progress, Chapter 27, The Lost Art of Suffering at the Electric Ballroom in London, Marty Scurll retained the Progress title in a 9-way elimination match. It doesn't say who his opponents are. And then notable birthdays. SoCal Val is turning 38 today. So happy birthday, SoCal Val. Charlie Haas one half of the world's greatest.
Young. She's young.
She
She's been around forever.
Yeah, she looks amazing. She still looks the same since 2006. Charlie Haas is turning 52. One half of the world's greatest tag team. So good for Charlie Haas. I like Charlie Haas. And then Kenta Kobashi, born in 1967. So that'd make him 57, I believe.
67.
57.
67.
He was born in 67.
Shouldn't he be 67?
Okay, it's getting late, and math is not working. So,
1960. Oh, 57. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe 57. So, happy birthday to all those.
The guy who made the Brain Hammer famous.
So, happy birthday to all those well-known names in wrestling. But we're already at hour 39, so we are done. No more news, no more articles, unless anybody else will like to add anything else. The Q&A for the month of March will be this Saturday, same time, same channel. So if you guys haven't already, please put in your questions. And if you want to add more questions, be my guest. And if you want to make it fun, add some WrestleMania questions. Do that. And I also have an announcement that I talked about earlier in the show. So, unfortunately, I will be closing down the Patreon. Just due to financial reasons, I'll be closing down the Patreon starting after April 1st. The Patreon will be no more. The shows, however, that I do with RJ and Ruben and Jeff, I will be putting them up for the public pretty soon. I just downloaded all the episodes, so I'll be uploading them pretty soon, and they will be a part of the regular Spreaker channel. But yeah, unfortunately, the Patreon will be no more. I started in 2021, which is crazy that it's all been like 3 years since I started the Patreon. But it's been fun. It's been a ride. But unfortunately, life gets in the way. Finances get in the way. So for anyone,
does it cost money to have a Patreon?
No, you would need to. I believe you'll need to file for like a tax thing, fill out like a tax thing. You need to make a certain amount of money to start paying taxes, and I wasn't making, enough money to start paying taxes, or to report it to my taxes. So, but anyone that was a Patreon member, thank you. It means a lot. I know Kyle was one. But yeah, just, gotta do what you gotta do. This show, however, is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. Knock on wood. You can hear it anywhere, any place where podcasts are put out. I was about to say Google Podcasts, but Google Podcast is going away next month. So you can hear it on iTunes. You can hear it on Spotify. You can hear it on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's free. That's free. And you can find me anywhere on social media. X, Instagram. I have a Facebook page. So yeah, that's really about it. Justin, tell them about Spinebuster Tees.
Yeah, Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Obviously you guys know about the website I have, where you have an array of t-shirts that you can be able to purchase on spinebustertees.com. Got winter 10 at checkout. Definitely got to change that to spring because it's officially spring, but still, you still use the winter 10 promo code at checkout. Free shipping for orders over $40. Go get your Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, the Hardcore Wrestling men's t-shirt, the USA men's t-shirt. You got Memorial Day and the 4th of July coming up, so that'll be a very good t-shirt to have. The Meltzer Star Ratings t-shirt, the Vanilla Midget t-shirt, the Future Endeavor t-shirt as well, an array of other t-shirts on the website available to you, shipping across the country of the United States of America. Spinebuster Tees on Instagram. Follow me on there where you can see everything I get inside my store, my shop. I have a whatnot page as well that you guys can be able to purchase directly from me. If you don't want to do that, if you want to come to San Antonio and visit me inside my store, you can definitely visit me at the Wonderland of the Americas. inside the little shops. You can come visit me. Open 5 days a week. Spinebuster Tees, where you can come in and get action figures, t-shirts, socks, hats, trading cards. Got VHS tapes now. A couple of them, not a ton of them, but autograph 8x10s, vintage magazines, vintage 8x10s as well. I actually had 2 of the original Von Erich 8x10s that came from the sport tournament in Dallas. I had one of the family from the late 70s that I sold recently, and I currently have one right now of Kerry Von Erich from the early 1980s, very vintage as well. So you never know where you'll find my store. If you're a wrestling fan, it's the store for you. Even for you, if you don't buy anything, you can just come check it out and see and catch the vibes in there as well. We're always talking good wrestling there with wrestling fans alike that talk wrestling. Not just WWE but AEW, New Japan, indie wrestling. So want to make it a staple here in South Texas. So Spinebuster Tees in spinebustertees.com.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first, folks. Yeah, that's the show, peeps. We are done. We will see you this Saturday for the Q&A of March. And like I mentioned before, if you haven't already, please send in some questions. If you have already sent some questions and you want to send in more, please go right ahead. And like we always say, make them fun, make them interesting. The last few Q&As have been pretty fun, especially with those tier lists that Savage Elite puts out. I'm looking forward to that, whatever it is. And then, since WrestleMania is coming up, make it more WrestleMania oriented, if you can. We will see you next week for a big week in wrestling. We got the go home shows of Raw, we got the CM Punk interview on Monday, and then we also have the Bray Wyatt documentary that's coming out right after Raw.
But just like a lot of indie shows and stuff that's gonna be happening like on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So like I just can't wait because I'm just gonna be watching the whole bunch of indie stuff in Philly, man. Because they usually do like the crazy fun shit. So can't wait for that too.
And then my dad turns 70 next week.
Oh, nice.
His birthday is on April 6th. So I love my dad. Happy big 7-0 to my dad. His party will be at 5, so it'll be an hour before Mania. So I might miss maybe a little bit of Mania, but as always, I can just go back to watch the rest. But
yeah, absolutely.
But family's always important over
family first always.
Over half naked, sweaty men, simulating violence. Next week's going to be a big week, so we will see you Saturday, and then we will see you next week at our regularly scheduled time, and maybe there'll be some blood, maybe there'll be plenty of fucks. There's always plenty of fucks on this show. There hasn't been enough fucks, but we will see you this Saturday, peeps. Take care, have a good night, and be safe. Peace.
Peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.